Okay, to this point we have the ADC working regularly on a delay, and what we're going to do now is add a second sensor. It's going to be an I2C temperature sensor, so this is digital, and also it is our first middleware which we're adding to start. So you'll learn some principles of how to work with middleware. So let's get going. Adding a middleware, searching for temperature. We can see that a temperature sensor is added and a dependency, and notice that as I hover over here, the two are highlighted so we can see that they're related and that they are dependent on each other. We are also able to rename components. So for instance, we can just call this temperature sensor, and the I2C is already configured as we need it in this board because it's the most common temperature sensor that we use. It's given that configuration. So let's export the project. And reconfigure our start project. Okay, so the first thing to notice is that middlewares come with a .c and .h file in the root. So if we look at the .h first, we'll see that there's a couple of functions, temperature sensor init, which is in the main here, and this is the function that we're going to call now. It doesn't take anything parameters, so we can simply call it. And here we should be able to write that our temperature sensor is initialized. Okay, next thing to do is to try and read this. So one other thing to note though is that we need to include the H file. So in the C file here we have a mention of the H file, but in our main we're also going to need the H file of this temperature sensor of the middleware. Okay, then the next thing, as I said, was to read this. So we can see that there's a specific temperature sensor here, .c and .h, and in this we can find a temperature sensor read function, which we're going to call. Note that this function is a float, so the variable that we need for temperature is going to be a float as well. Let's read this in our while loop, and we need the name of our sensor now. So go back to the H file where our temperature sensor name is, and now we need a float variable. Okay, let's compile and see if this is correct. So it compiles without errors and we're able to debug. So I'm in the debug window now, and I'm going to add a watch on the temperature variable and a breakpoint here. And let's run and see what we get. So obviously the first time we run it, we haven't stored anything yet, but if we hit it again, we can see we are 31 degrees, and if I put my finger on the temperature sensor, it's going up, and it's gone up a bit, and now if I remove it, try to blow on it, that temperature should start coming down again. Okay, so it's pretty hot in the room here. Okay, thank you.